All right, so we got the HTML done. You may have noticed that obviously it doesn't look good, and that's because we just need to add CSS. So we already built all these classes in there that we can basically target all these elements. So I'm just gonna add those to this here. So I'm just gonna do that. Okay, and what we're gonna do is just I'm gonna put a space in between just so that I know what it is. What I would suggest is this. Don't You can follow me along if you want, but really, if you just look to the bottom left there, you can see it's highlighted what you need to write. Just go ahead and just look at that and just type it up and think about what you're typing while you're typing. I'm going to do it anyway in video just so that in case you do want to watch, and I'll explain why we're doing what we're doing. Yeah. So anyway, here I go, but you can finish and go ahead of me if you want. So we're going to do is dot slide, and if you remember, that's the class that's for the entire slideshow. So this is going to apply to the whole thing, and what we're going to do is actually do display, and we're going to set it to none. And the reason why we're going to do that is that we're actually going to turn it off. We don't want to show all the slides. We're going to turn it off, and that way what we're going to do is we're going to use JavaScript to only show the slides that we want specifically, right? So if you look, right, each one of these are called slides. So we're going to turn all these slides off and only show the one that should be showing at a time. So by default, we're going to turn them all off, which will work. That's why we're doing that. Okay. So we're going to do that. Then we're going to do slide img. And we're just going to go ahead. And this is just to make it so it fits better. So vertical align. We're just going to do middle. And then this is just basic formatting stuff. And then width. We're just going to do 100% to make sure it fits inside of the slider. Here we go. Okay. And then next we're going to do our previous and next buttons. So previous and also next. We'll just do them. Oops, sorry. It's dot next because these are classes. And boop. Okay. And what we're going to do is cursor pointer. Just make sure that it's like when we hover over it, it's obvious that it is indeed a link. And then the most of this is just going to be for the purpose that, I don't. Okay, we'll do position, and I'm going to do absolute, but that's actually not usually a good idea, but we're going to do it on this one anyways. And then we're going to do top. We're going to do 50%, 50%. So basically it'll make it halfway from the top. The previous and next buttons will exist. Then width, we're going to make auto. Okay, so that the width is automatically the right size. Padding. So a lot of this I just played with. So like, why would you know to do 16 pixels? I just played around with it till I got something to position it. I just did all these things. It's all you really need to know. So margin hyphen top. Again, I was just obviously trying to push this. So we're going to do minus 22px. So what that's going to do is it's basically kind of move it down. So this gives me most of the way down, and this will move me down a little bit more. Because even if you do 50%, it's actually going to look like it's slightly above 50% because it's going to start at 50%. Color, I'm just going to do white for the buttons. Obviously, you can change the color of that depending on what you want your color to be. Font weight, I'm just going to make it bold just so that I didn't put a number in this time. So you can put in one of the numbers just so that it's a little bit easier to see. Font size, I just went with 18 pixels. This probably should be in EMs, but whatever. Transition. Oops. Wow, I thought that was coming up. Transition. And we are going to do 0.6 seconds. And then E. It's basically, that's for like when you hover over it, it will like fade as opposed to just being immediate. And then border radius. We'll go ahead and do 0 space 3px space 0. I'm going to put px since I'm putting px in the other ones. Although technically you shouldn't need to do that. And then we'll do, come on, one more. And then 3 px. Oh, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. It's 0px on the last one. 0px. and do 3px. And that's just going to make it so it's kind of rounded on the sides, but not on the other sides. And then, all right, well, that's probably good enough. And then we'll just delete that, get that back up here. All right, and that looks great. And then next, what we want to do is this. So this will format both of them. By default, they're both going to be on the left. It's going to do one and then the other. What I want to do is have previous on the left and the next on the right. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do one just for next specifically. And this is just to make it to the right. So if I do right and then I do 0px, what that's going to do is it's actually going to make it go all the way to the right, because it's going to say, go 0 pixels from the right. And then we'll do border radius, and it's going to be the opposite of what we just did. So it's going to be 3px, and then 0px, 0px, and then 3px. And that's just so that they're rounded kind of opposites. It'll look better when you see it. Okay. All right, that's good. And there are a lot of these. So the next one I'm just going to do is format the caption. And nothing too fancy here. Color. Let's just do white. I did a number on the example here, but where'd it go? Oh, okay. Okay. So, but I don't really care that much. Font size. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and do 15px. Okay. And then the padding. Boom. And I just kind of split this up a little bit. I did 8px and then 12px. So just remember that if you have two numbers, it means top and bottom, left and right. So it'll do 2 at the same time. So instead of having to do 3, so like here, so we did 3. Okay, so there's padding. Where are you at? Position. And we'll just do, oops, okay. Position, absolute. And then the, where are you at? Position, absolute. Bottom. So we want to get this to the bottom. And we're just going to say 8 pixels, so it's just off the bottom. And then the width, I'm going to go ahead and make that 100%, so it goes across the entirety of it. And text align center, just so it's centered. Okay, there's that. Okay, let's see, text align center. Okay, so next we're going to do is the slide indicator. We're just going to center it. So hashtag slide indicator, right? And we're just going to do text align center. And that is it for that. That was pretty straightforward. And let's scroll up again. Boop. And we got one more. Or, I'm sorry, 2 more. So now we're going to do is the dot indicator. Now this is how we're going to format the dots so they actually exist. Yeah. So anyways, cursor, we're going to do pointer again so that it looks like a link. Although actually we probably don't want that because we're not making them links. So we got to do height. I'm going to purposely give it a height. So 15 pixels. And then the width we will also do as 15 pixels. Now by default, this is actually going to look like it is, what do you call it? That it's square. So in order to make it not square, if we do border radius and set it to 50%, what it's going to do is it's actually going to make them circles. So this now makes it a circle. However, it's not visible yet, so we actually need a background color. So let's do background color, and let's do, because I don't feel like writing it out, we're going to do gray. And so you can put in whatever color you want. Margin. Oops, margin. And I'm just going to set this to 0px and 2px. And the reason for that is, oops, didn't put that close enough. The reason for that is to put spaces between them. Otherwise, they would be right on top of each other. So now there's going to be 2 pixels on the left and right of them. And then nothing above and below, because I don't need above and below. It's just the side to side that I needed it. and we're going to do display. We'll do inline block just to make sure that they behave the way we want. And then we're going to do a transition. And we'll do background color, background hyphen color. So we're going to transition the background color, and it's going to be 0.6 seconds. Did I do that other transition right? Okay, yeah, I did put the S. I thought I forgot the S. Okay, and then we're just going to say we're going to have it ease. Transition, background color. Okay. I think that looks good. Okay. Good. Let's put that there like that. And boom. And let's go back here. And one last one. So active. So basically this is just going to make it so that if it's currently on, so specifically, especially for the dots, that they will be more, that they will look like they're on. And we're just going to do background color. And I don't know, let's just do, RGB, and let's do, let's do 200, 200, and that way it'll be a really light gray, but that can be changed up too. Okay, and let's go like that, and save it, and then we'll preview it. I'm going to click on this and hit Control R, and you can see all the slides go away, and we've got our slider buttons right here, yeah, so that should be mostly good there. All right, so yeah, so it's not going to look like much because the images aren't there, but once the images come up, it should look a little bit better, but that's obviously going to be solved by doing the JavaScript, which is what we're going to do next. So one thing I noticed actually is that if you look, see how these are up here, which they should not be. They should actually be down here. And the reason why is that we actually missed one of the CSS rules here. So it's the one for the slideshow. So slideshow, and we're just going to do max width, and we're just going to go ahead and make that 1000 pixels, just to make sure it doesn't get overly big. We need to make the position relative, because everything is inside of this. And then we're going to do margin, and then we're just going to do auto. Okay. And then if we save that, Control S, and actually I want to do this too. There we go. Control S. If we go here and we Control R, you can see that now they are in the actual right position. It's just because this needed to be set, and then that would function. So now you can go to the next slide.